Shalom. I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Racha Kodesh. I want to give double honors to the apostles, to the elders, the great millstone. Peace, love, honors, and salutations to the hopeful elect that are out there doing the work in truth and in sincerity. Shalom to you all. This is going to be, a quick lesson. It's kind of late. And I just wanted to speak about, those two clowns at Genesis. Excuse me. Twisting scriptures, to fit, their stupid little agenda. And we told you, brothers and sisters, we told you that this would happen. And one thing is, they lied, because they said their departure from Alizé wasn't about doctrine. They said it wasn't about doctrine, but as we're finding out, it was. Because now they're teaching that the heathen nations can make it in the kingdom. Well, my whole thing is, then who's going to build up the kingdom? Who's going to be the servants in the kingdom that the Bible speaks of? So this is 2 Timothy chapter 3 verse 13. It says, "But evil men and seducers shall wax worse and worse, deceiving and being deceived." Now I want to take this to the NLT real quick. If I'm going to GNT as well, in the NLT. Let's see what it says in the GNT. I mean the NLT. "But evil people and impostors will flourish. They will deceive others and will themselves be deceived." Right? So evil people and imposters. These scriptures speak about, let me see if I can find it. If I'll just go to Google. Matthew 7th chapter. What's that? 7 and 15. It's like Matthew chapter 7 verse 15. It says, "Beware of false prophets, which come to you in sheep's clothing, but inwardly they are ravening wolves." And this guy Hassad and Hakah, they come to you, in sheep's clothing. Meaning, what's a sheep, man? What's the characteristics of a sheep? Humble. A sheep is very gentle. A sheep doesn't cause harm to anybody. A sheep is peaceful. It says, "Beware of false prophets, which come to you in sheep's clothing, but inwardly they are ravening wolves." And a ravening wolf is somebody that just wants to tear you apart. It says, "Ye shall know them by their fruits. Do men gather grapes of thorns or figs of thistles? Even so, every good tree bringeth forth good fruit, but a corrupt tree bringeth forth evil fruit." And the people, that the men and the women that follow them, are the same as they. Okay? It says, "A good tree cannot bring forth evil fruit, neither can a corrupt tree bring forth good fruit. Every tree that bringeth not forth good fruit is hewn down and cast into the fire. And this is what's happening to Hakah and Hassad right now. They're being cut down by Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. The Spirit of the Lord have departed from them, just as it departed from Alizé. Right now, we're watching these men. We're watching the downfall of these men. When you start teaching something like the heathen nations can make it into, when I say make it, meaning we're gonna share the kingdom with them. At what point do we get our revenge? At what point do we get to rule our people alone, like every other nation did? What point do we get any type of vengeance, man? You guys took the bag. You guys took the bag, man. It says every tree that bringeth forth, it's like every tree that bringeth not forth good fruit is hewn down and cast into the fire. Wherefore, by their fruits ye shall know them. You know, and this means a good example of this is you see how, you know, Nate acts, how Nate reads, how Nate speaks, how Nate talks. All the other members of the IUIC, you know, tend to mimic him, you know, in the things that he do, in the things that he teach. The same mannerisms, man. So the same way these two, which, you know, I'll say this, man. You know, which one's Hakah again? Hassad, man. That dude's probably a tear, man. You know, I'm just speaking as a man. That dude's probably a tear. So let's go back here. This is Revelation. I'm gonna go back to Timothy. This is Revelation 22:18. It says, I testify unto every man that heareth the words of the prophecy of this book. If any man shall add unto these things, the Most High shall add unto him the plagues that are written in this book. So you're adding to the scriptures saying the heathen nations can be saved. And according to Alizé, you guys don't believe that Cornelius is an Israelite. You know, you guys are all messed up in the head, man. Genesis Israelites are all messed up in the head. They don't know their head from their ass when it comes to the scriptures. The Lord took the spirit from them, man. These guys, yeah, they go into a lot of, you know, they research a lot of things, man, but the scriptures tell you, man, much study is weariness of the flesh. And the studying that you guys are doing is to so-called confound the teachings that we've been taught, you know, by the apostles through the spirit of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. It says, verse 14 is what I want right now. It says, but back in 2 Timothy 3:13, but evil men and seducers shall wax worse and worse, deceiving and being deceived. But continue thou in the things which thou hast learned, and hast been assured of, knowing of whom thou hast learned them, right? And that's why the scriptures tell you to miss not the discourse of the elders, for they themselves learned of their fathers. So this wisdom that we have is ancient wisdom that's been passed down through a righteous line, all right? It's been passed down through a righteous line unto us. So the scriptures say to continue in those things, right? Continue speaking the proper things. Yes, the natural Gentiles will be in the kingdom, but as servants. Man, listen, I ain't lifting my wine glass to my lips. You know, I got a servant for that. You know, the scriptures tell you we're going to be a nation of kings and priests. All right? Salakia. Hey, Salakia. So, Let me read this again. It says back in back in Second Timothy 3:13, 3 and 14, it says, "But continue thou in the things which thou hast learned." And we didn't learn things such as the Gentiles' salvation, right? We didn't learn things such as Cornelius is not an Israelite, which Cornelius is an Israelite, and the Gentiles will not receive salvation. Okay? Because salvation, is going to start in the chariots, and our bodies have to be changed. So you mean to tell me all the heathen nations' bodies are going to be changed? And we're going to be, stacked in together in the holy chariots, with heathens? Come on, man. You guys are bugging. You guys are bugging, man. You guys done lost the spirit. Yahweh Bashim Yashai is not dealing with you. Okay? The Lord is not dealing with you. Matthew 7:15. Let me go back here. It says, "Beware of false prophets which come to you in sheep's clothing, but inwardly they are ravening wolves." I had to go back to that, showing you that these guys are going off, man. And, we've told you, brothers and you sisters, about it. Once these guys fall out, they're going to start changing up everything, which is what these guys did. They're going to start changing up everything. The lake of fire is somewhere in the Middle East. The river of fire, according to them. That's why, like I said, the scriptures say, it's like the scriptures say, much study is weariness of the flesh. All right? Their whole goal was to outshine the apostles in wisdom. There was nothing humble about their mission or what they intended to do. All right? So we tell you guys, stay away from guys like this, and we've been showing nothing but love to these guys by openly rebuking them. And look what they're doing, backstroking back into the fire. So, I ain't gonna say too much more on that. I'm pretty sure brother saw the videos. I'll come back and we're gonna speak about it at camp tomorrow. Well, today. But giving all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh Bashim Yashai for keeping us, on the right track, for putting us under the right leadership, man. You see what these Ronins, you seen what happened to these Ronins, man. You seen what happened to these Ronins, okay? So giving all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh Bashim Yashai, Bashim Rakah Kodash. Double honors to the apostles, to the elders, a great millstone. Peace, love, honors, and salutation to the hopeful elect. Shalom.